Welcome to Shelfside Tutorials, where we teach you how to play board games. For this one, we're doing Suburbia. If you haven't seen a review, go ahead and check that out. If you came from the review, well, now it's time to delve deeper into this game and how to actually play it. So the first thing we're going to do is go over how to set up the game, because that's what you got to do. Thankfully, the instruction booklet, does a very good job of just saying, hey, here's how you do it. Everything's right there on the first page with 18 easy to follow steps, so we're gonna go ahead and just go through them all in order. For starters, you're gonna take this, I don't know what you call this tile, but it has 3 hexagons on it, and this is where we're gonna be putting down the tiles that you buy from while playing the game. Next up, you're gonna go ahead and get those tiles, A, B, and C tiles, specifically. Now, depending on the amount of players you have, it will be a different amount. Thankfully, there's a very useful guide right here. For 2 players, you're gonna need 15 for each type. For 3 players, you need 18. 4 players, you need 21. I've already set these up right now. All of these are 18, so I'm gonna go ahead and put them into A and the B. However, for C, this gets a little weird. Instead of immediately just dropping 18 tiles here, what you're gonna do is you're gonna take 9 of these C tiles, and then you're gonna take this one more round tile, which hilariously enough on the back of it has a big old C, so it can disguise itself amidst the normal C tiles, and you shuffle it in there. Once you are done with that, you're gonna take 4 more C tiles, and then you're gonna put them on the bottom, and you put this shuffled C tile pile on top of that. After that, you're gonna go ahead and take the real estate market, which is this giant triangle piece, and just stick in the middle. Then, you're gonna take 4 suburbs, which are these green tiles, put it there onto the green slot, 4 community parks, which is the gray one, put in the gray slot, and 4 heavy factories, which is the yellow one, onto the yellow slot. These are easy to tell that they are set tiles, not only because of the name, but also because their backs aren't blue and lettered, because these are the basic tiles. These are the fundamental tiles. These are just the ones that are simple and easily accessible. Speaking of easy access, we got this piece right here. This is going to be the supply board. Now, on this, you literally just dump a whole bunch of money so that players in the game can just reach over the middle and grab it as needed. No one actually owns this. It's just there. It's kind of like the Bank of Monopoly. Now that this is all ready to go, what you're going to do is you flip over A tiles and put them alongside the track on the bottom in the corresponding slots. The slots are connotated by these white lines and also some money above it. After that, you're gonna go ahead and shuffle your gold tiles. After you shuffle your gold tiles, you're gonna take 1 per player you have and put them into these middle slots right here. Again, I'm just gonna go for the example of 3 because that's what I'm doing this whole time. So boom, boom, boom. These are kind of like public objectives. Whoever does them the best, they get some bonus points at the end of the game. Now that the main board is set up, what you're gonna go ahead and do is give all the players all the stuff that they need to start building their own little cities. So for starters, you're gonna give everyone one of these borough boards. So for now, I'll just put mine here, just to be easily demonstratable. Once everyone has their borough boards nice and in front of them, you're gonna give them all their corresponding player components of that color, and they'll just tuck these ×2 ones away while you're gonna put the cylinder onto the 0 on the circles up there, and this cube onto the 1 on these black boxes over here. Once that's good to go, everyone's gonna start off with a suburb, a community park, and a heavy factory in this specific order, like so. So next you're gonna put down is your population board, which is essentially just your points in the game, the point tracker, the point track. Because in this game, your population is your win con, ergo your points. So you're gonna go ahead and put that in the middle, usually on top of this. That's how we like to do it at least. And then you're gonna go ahead and take that last colored piece, which is the not cube, not cylinder, more like a very flat square, and you can put it on 2. Everyone starts the game with 2 points. They got 2 people in there, pretty nifty. After that is done, you're gonna start everyone off with 15 money. If you ever forget about how much people start off with, just think Monopoly. It's a 15. Also remember to have your 2x markers just readily available. They're not anywhere on the board, but you will be able to put them onto your tiles throughout the game. I usually like to keep those by my money. After that, you're going to randomly give everyone 2 goals face down. And then you're going to look at them and pick one to keep. The other one goes back to the box. And that's it. Everyone's ready to play Suburbia now. So the goal of Suburbia is to make your city the most populated out of everyone's city at the end of the game. How do we do that? Well, the core gameplay of this game is going to be buying tiles from the real estate market and putting it into your city. These tiles will typically do things such as give you money, give you population, have negative effects on other players, have positive effects on you, etc., etc. So on a turn, there are literally only 2 things you are allowed to do, and you have to do something. You either take a tile, or you place an investment token onto one of your existing tiles. Investments are these 2 times hexagons that basically just double the effect of something you currently already have. So let's go over taking a tile. So when you take a tile, you're going to have 3 options of what you're going to do with them. You're either going to take from the real estate market, which is this track right here in the middle. You're going to take a basic tile, which is going to be the suburb, heavy factor, or community park, or you're going to lake a tile. And what that essentially means is you take a tile from the real estate market and you flip it over so that it has its lake side up, which is just the letter and a bunch of blue water. So let's go over these examples one by one. When you buy from the real estate market, you can literally buy anything you want from this track, but there is a caveat because you might notice that there are numbers on top of every slot. Those numbers are an additional cost you have to pay on top of the cost that is already printed on the tile when you purchase said tile. So the 2 most right tiles don't actually have any additional cost to them, so these are the ones that players are probably going to be gravitating towards the most throughout the game. So as an example of me buying from the real estate market, I'm going to go ahead and pick up this landfill, which costs 4 as denoted by the number on the left of it, which I will go ahead and pay right now to the bank. Once you pick up a tile, you can place it anywhere you want inside your city, but it has to be connected to at least one of your already existing tiles. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put it right here in between my community park and my heavy factory. Now, everyone also has a player aid that has a handy dandy step-by-step tutorial instructional thingy, mababi, that you follow whenever you place a tile down. Now, in order, I'm just gonna TLDR this real quickly. Essentially, when you buy a tile, you're gonna pay its cost, duh, put it down somewhere, also duh. But then once you put it down, there are a sequence of effects you should be resolving in this order. The first thing you're gonna do is if the tile has anything on the top right, you do that right now. So the landfill has a +2 and a circle. Circles denote income, as you might have guessed by your own burrow track. So by this landfill with the +2, I'm gonna go ahead and take my cylinder and move it up by 2. Were that to be a square, I would instead affect my reputation. After doing the effect on the top right, you're gonna do the one on the bottom, which in this case, landfill has a -1 to reputation for each adjacent yellow, gray, green, or blue tile on it. Again, remember I said before, reputation is a square. In this case, because it is next to a gray tile, my community park, and a yellow tile, my heavy factory, I would lose 2 reputation. After you're done resolving everything on the tile itself, you now check adjacent tiles if they have anything that activates on them. So the community park says, well, this gets +1 reputation for each adjacent yellow, green, or blue tile. Landfill is the yellow one, so this goes up by 1. Now I check the heavy factory. It says -1 reputation for each adjacent gray or green tile, which landfill is a yellow tile, so heavy factory does not activate. Next, you're gonna check everything in your city for any effects that don't involve adjacent tiles. Check if anything happens there, which again, we don't have any of that. And after that, you check other players, see if they have anything that affects your tile. Once you're done with that, then you're done resolving everything for the tile being put down. The next option aside from buying from the real estate market is to buy a basic tile, which are exactly the same as your default starting tiles. Again, same rule as the real estate market stuff, except there's no real estate market price that gets added onto it. You just pay the very low price on the left side of it, put it wherever you want in your city with same rules apply, has to be next to something you already own, and then you resolve all the effects in order just like I did before. The last thing you can do with tiles is you lake a tile. So what the hell does that mean? Well, you can only lake tiles that are in the real estate market, and you do this by taking a tile and you flip it over to its blue lettered side. Now what lakes do is they give you a immediate cash injection, just +2 money for each adjacent tile that isn't a lake. You can put it whatever you want, same rules apply. And remember, this thing, just like any other tile in the game, has a constant effect. So as long as you continue to place tiles next to it, you're going to continue to get 2 more money for each tile that goes next to it. I should also mention that if you're going to lake a tile from the left side of the real estate market, you're going to have to pay its cost. So normally it's recommended that you lake things on the right side rather than the left, because you would be paying essentially money that you're going to be making back from the lake anyways. And lastly, investment tokens. So how this works is when you put it on a tile you own, you repay the tile's cost that it has on the left. So if I were to put this on my community park, which costs 4, I would cover up the 4 with it, pay 4 to the bank, and now the community park, I would essentially treat it as if I had just placed it down again, 2 timesing its effects. So I'll do the exact same thing I would do when I would normally place down a tile, but just for that community park. One last caveat I want to mention is that at the end of your turn, there always has to be some tile that just got taken from the real estate market. So either if you buy from the real estate market, then obviously you move a tile by doing that. But if you do something like buying a basic tile or placing an investment marker down on one of your existing tiles, you still have to remove one of these real estate market tiles from the game. When you do this, you also still have to pay the cost of the real estate price on top. So normally you're going to be taking out the ones that are on the right. Once it's the end of your action, you're going to go ahead and slide all of the tiles in the real estate market down to the right, and you're going to flip over the next tile from the corresponding letter. So if you're in A, you do A. Once A's are out, you go to B. Once B is out, you go to C. Once you're done doing your action and resolving all the effects from said purchase, which is usually just adjusting your income and reputation, you're now going to do the following. First, look at your income, and then you take money from the supply equal to your income. In this case, if income's 2, I'll just take 2, put it into my own supply. Next, you look at your reputation, and then you adjust your score, or your population, whatever you want to call it, by your reputation amount. In this case, it is 0, so mine would not move. One more caveat about your score / your population. So you might have noticed that there are numerous red lines throughout this track. If at any point during the game, not at the end of the game, only during, that your population marker crosses one of these red lines, you're going to have to adjust your income and reputation by -1. The game has this mechanic in place to kind of put speed bumps in a way, so you can't just rush population in the early game without having an actual proper engine that's steadily getting people into your city. Much like in real life, you don't want a massive influx all at once and tank all your resources. You want to have steady, sustainable growth. So this is going to be your core gameplay loop of Suburbia. You're usually just buying stuff and sometimes investing. And as a result, anything you do, again, was going to make it so that the real estate market track is going to move down. You keep on just taking from the letter that you're on. And eventually what it's going to result in is that you're going to run out of A's, you move on to B. You're going to run out of B's, and you're going to move on to the C. And at some point, when you're going through your C's, you're going to eventually flip over the end of the game tile. When this comes up, you finish the current round that you are on, and then you give everyone one more round so that the game ends with everyone having the exact same amount of turns taken throughout the course of the game. Now, the one more round tile is not placed in the real estate market. When you flip it, you literally just discard it, keep it in mind, and you just continue with the C tiles as normal, put the next one onto the track. So once the end of the round tile comes up and everyone finishes all of their turns and the game actually ends, now it's time to add up bonus points. So remember how at the start of the game, everyone had their own private goal, and also how I explained that there were a couple of public goals. So I'm gonna explain how this works right now. So you're gonna go ahead and look at the public goals you have out and check each one of them individually and see who has accomplished them to their best degree. As an example, we have here environmentalist. Whoever has the fewest yellow tiles is immediately gonna get this goal. They get an influx of 15 bonus points. Now, I should also mention that for goals, if you are tied for their criteria, no one gets the goal. This is including your own goals and not just the public ones. So once you're done checking all the public ones, everyone reveals one at a time their private goals. No one else can complete them, but they also might not have been completed by the owner of them. After you're done awarding everyone's bonus population from goals, next thing you're gonna move on to is counting your money. So how this is gonna work is for every 5 money you have, you get 1 population out of it, rounded down. Now, obviously this is an abysmal return rate because if you have like a pretty crazy amount of money, like 50, that's only 10 population. Like, that's the minimum you're gonna get from a goal. So stacking money is probably not the most viable strategy to get points in this game. You're also gonna keep your leftover money to be a tiebreaker in the event that you need to account for it. And remember, like I said before, when awarding these bonus points, you ignore the red line penalties. Once you have given everyone their bonus points through goals and money, you now see who has the most population in total. That player is now the winner of Suburbia. However, if there is a tie for most population, there are 3 tiebreakers that you check in the following order. First, who had the most reputation? Second, who had the most income? And then lastly, the leftover money. The rules also say that if for some reason you tied on all of these, well, you might as well just play another game and see who actually won. And that's it for how to play Suburbia. Now, obviously I didn't go over like every single nuance of what every tile does, but thankfully the game does come with this handy dandy, I don't know what you call this, it's like a second instruction booklet where literally all they do is explain every single tile in the game. So if it's ever like a wording confusion or something that you're confused about what it actually does, it's all here. But that's gonna be it for our Suburbia tutorial. Thank you for coming along, listening to us explain the game in depth. If you wanna go back to the review, if you came here from it, we got a link somewhere around here, no idea where. But if you're just watching and learning to play Suburbia, hope that we did our job and you know how to play the game now. This has been Shelfside Tutorials. We'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.